discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 4 Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are continuing our top 100 games of all time. This one is 70 to 61. Getting up there to the halfway mark. My 70 to 61 has 5 new games. So this is an exciting one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new games.
5 new games. Yep, this is around the spot. So, let's go ahead and get started. My 71 might actually surprise you, especially because it surprised me. So my 70 is
Commit.
No. I think they're actually remaking Kemet.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're doing like a second edition to kind of clean up some of the fiddliness of it and make it a better game. But and I think there's another one that I think they're working on. So who knows? No, it is Paladins of the West Kingdom.
I still haven't got a chance to play it yet.
Okay,
because it's still on freaking...
It's on hold because you bought pre-order stuff with it. So this is an interesting one because I don't have Architects to compare it to because they didn't ship my Architect stuff with my Paladin stuff, so now I'm waiting for that.
Oh, because you got the Kickstarter, that's right.
Whatever the Kickstarter was, I think it was just a way for me to get Architects and the metal coins. But during the run-through of Paladins, so that's on the channel and the discussion, it wasn't sitting like oh wow, this is an elite game. Then I played the solo version, and I was like, as I was playing the solo version, I grasped the game a little bit better. I was able to test out a few things, and it's a very, very solid game. But I think they do very innovative ways for worker placement in all 3 of their games. Architects is one, you have all of them and you place them, they can get arrested. What was the other one? Raiders of North Sea, you place and pick up. In this one, you have a deck of cards, a deck of Paladin cards, and you draw 3 and you pick one to put that you're going to use. You put one back on top and the other one on the bottom, and that person will give you 2 types of workers from a pool. So you start out with no workers. You grab 2 from the card, and then there are tavern cards, number of players +1, and in turn order you pick one, and those have 4 of various colors, and you pick that one, and that's your worker pool. Then throughout the game you'll place workers, and there's ways to mitigate who you get. There's ways like, okay, if you put a purple on this worker placement spot, then he turns into 3 others. And there's ways to get more and more workers throughout the round. But, so to do your actions, you need certain colored workers, and you do those actions. Then, all your workers go away. So you start with a fresh round of workers each round. But over time, as you're making locations cheaper, so they're not costing as much, you become more efficient as the game goes on. And by the time of my solo mode, I was swimming in workers, and it's really cool because you have cards that you recruit that you can actually like send them away, and they have an ability for that, or you can hire them and they have every time you do this action you get a coin or you get a resource or things like that. Then you can convert people that turn into those are end game goals, which is how I ended up winning. Was endgame goals. You also have a main board that you place buildings on to get a one-time use ability, and there's endgame objectives. At the very beginning, you know what 3 you know what 1 is. The very first card is a 4-pointer. If you complete it, the next one's 5 and the next one's 6. And the reason why it's higher is because you have less time to do it. So if you pull it off, you get more points. There's a lot going on. This game is prone to AP.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
And our run through, unfortunately, is not the most exciting run through. One, because I felt like I was doing piss poor, and I was, and then I finally, last 2 rounds, I was like, oh, Like, I think I have a strategy. This is the best I got. And I ended up pulling a victory, like, by 7 points. But it's really solid. I'm very pleased with it. So, that's my number 70.
I look forward to trying it out.
I look forward. Yeah, you'll eventually get it. So that's one.
Well, all 3 games that are on hold on that are ones that could possibly be on this list.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to know, because you like Architects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to know if how you
don't
like
like
this one.
Shipwrights. I don't like Explorers. I do like
The Raiders of the North.
Raiders of the North Sea is probably my favorite of all of them, and then Architects, and then possibly
try that one out. Yeah, this one has a really good solo variant.
Good. All right, so
because the reason why solo variants for me have to make it feel like you're not playing a solo variant, if that makes any sense. Where it's like I'm clearly playing against an AI who's busted, and I feel miserable because I'm like, wow, I get to do everything for free.
Yeah.
This one, like, it was weird because you knew you were playing an AI, but they did it in such a way that it felt fair.
Right, and that's what they perfected. Shem Phillips, the creator.
Yep.
Because Architects has the solo already in. Raiders, what didn't have the solo in, you could buy a deck for the solo.
Yeah.
And I think he's been just including it now.
Oh,
the other
yeah,
ones,
which is good.
Because I bought the solo for Raiders.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you were playing another person. You know, and it was well worth the $18 to get it shipped from, or paid for and shipped from New Zealand.
Yeah.
To get it here, because that's awesome. Now everything is included in these, so it's good.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're doing. They're very unique with their worker placement, which is really good, and their solo variants are solid. So that's why it's my number 70.
Perfect. All right. Well, my number 70 was number 43 last year.
Okay.
65 the year before that, so it's kind of bouncing around. We'll see where it lands. And I think it'll probably just stay kind of in this area. I don't think they're going to do anything else for the game either, but it's Nations, the dice game.
They just released an expansion, didn't they?
Well, it's been the expansion came out like a year.
That was like a year ago.
A year and a half ago, something like that, maybe more even. Even without the expansion, this game would still be here. The expansion, to me, didn't really change my liking one way or the other. It was just more stuff.
Yeah.
It gave more dice. There's green dice. There's it added it started you off different, I guess, would be the biggest deal.
Okay.
Like, you know how, like, when you would play the base game, you whether you were Egypt, Rome, Greece, whatever, you all started with the same stuff.
Okay.
This expansion has everybody starts differently.
Yeah, that's what I thought it needed was variety.
So, like, one of them may start with, instead of a reroll on a coin, they may start with 2 coins.
Okay.
Instead of the 5 dice you start with, one of them only starts with 4 dice.
Okay.
You know, and it can only have 4 dice the whole time, but they get more free stuff every turn.
Interesting.
You know, and stuff. So it just adds some more asymmetry to it.
Yep.
You know, and then there's the green dice, like I said, that are just another type of resource die. The solo version of this is good. It's not like groundbreaking or anything, but it's a solid way to play it. I've always really liked this game because I've tried Nations, a really long civ game. This one's just a really quick version of that.
Yeah.
The theme doesn't always necessarily jive with this one. Of course, Nations, it really didn't a whole lot either. But
Rado likes Nations a lot.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, I think Through the Ages is the best one, even though it's long as well.
Right. I think what you're gonna find, like, just with Pandemic, The Cure, you know, dice games, because I don't have a ton of time to play. So, like, if I can find a dice version of a game that cuts it down, gives me close to the same experience, then that's what I'm gonna lean towards.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And this is really cool because it's quick setup, quick games, really easy to teach, extremely easy to teach, and everything. So, I mean, that's why it's there. I mean, you're just building up your civilization and see how many points you get at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
It's rough for me with civilization games because for me they have to. I'll just inadvertently compare them to Civilization, Sid Meier's thing, not the board game, the video game.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Through the Ages is the best one. So good, in fact, that it's like I'll just play the computer game because I'll get the same experience. So yeah, that's my own thing. But all right, my number 69 was number 76 in 2018, so it rose 7 spots, and I didn't have anything for 2017, and that is a game that I don't believe you've played yet, and I think you've been wanting to, is Ethnos. Have you played Ethnos?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so Ethnos is almost like a under the radar kind of game. It is. Come on, like why aren't people jacking off to it? And it was one of those things that they pretty much completely ignored because they're like, oh, good games? No, we'll do bloated minis with no content. Ethnos is a area control set collection game, and I'm not the biggest set collection fan. I think that's kind of a mechanic that I'm like, I don't really care about this at all.
I like it if it's not the primary deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 5 Tribes.
Exactly.
The set collection, if it's a side part to the main game, that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. But Ethnos is really interesting because you take a few factions, different factions, fantasy factions, and shuffle them together, and then there's a pool, and you're kind of card drafting, trying to make a hand of cards, and then eventually you're making sets of these factions, and depending on the faction you make and the color they are, you place on different areas. And there's 3 eras, and over time the eras the areas become worth more points for controlling them. And the factions all do something unique. There's the wing folk that you play them, you can put your token anywhere. It doesn't have to match the color. There's the hobbits that do nothing, but there's a shit ton of them in the deck, so you have easier ways to actually make them. There is goblins, where if you get a certain goblin, you put your token on a track,
right,
and you get a bunch of points for collecting that. It's just a really solid one, but what makes the game really unique is that once you play a set, and you get points for, how many sets you have and how many cards are in the set. But once you play a set, you have to discard your whole hand. Or not discard, it goes into the draftable set.
Right.
So if I'm holding 6 cards and I play 2 hobbits, because I only need 2 to put a token in like the green area, then my 4 other cards become available for everyone else to pick. And you're hoping, okay, well, if it comes back around to me, hopefully no one picks what I want. You just have some hand management that you have to do with these cards, and it's so solid. I know there's a fairy promo faction, and people spike that stupid deck up.
The fairies.
Yeah, they're fairies. I've
seen the promo before of that. I just haven't.
Yeah, all the fantasies are unique. There's trolls, wingfolk, hobbits. I think sea creatures like a sea folk, and wizards. So some of them are your typical ones, but I like that there's other ones. A lot of people don't really like the art. I think it kind of gives off...
I was going to ask you
It's not like stellar, but for me, it gives kind of a grim Lord of the Rings art, if that makes any sense. It makes sense in my mind, in my weird mind. It's like if you were to imagine J.R.R. Tolkien's art for like in the books, or it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah,
and now whether obviously art is subjective, so whether you like it or not, that's your own thing. But I'm not going out praising its artwork, but I think the game was one that I think they should have supported more.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done anything. Of course,
I mean, I'm not surprised at all.
They're gunning for
Zombicide's second edition.
Well, and they're getting ready for the third of the Blood Rage Rising Sun, that Ankh or whatever.
You're right.
Because that's going to be a huge one.
Yep.
When it comes out.
Which I'm gonna get that one. I shit on Simon a lot, but mainly it's because that they just bloat their Kickstarters out, and I think they're a big enough company that they shouldn't be going on Kickstarter in the first place.
Right.
But I mean, because I own Blood Rage and Rising Sun, and I'm gonna probably go all in on Ankh. And I cried a little inside whenever Bloodborne went on. And I'm just like, $300. Yep. I don't care. If the game sucks, I don't care. I want the minis. So, because Bloodborne's my favorite video game, and I got to see it at Gen Con. Didn't get a chance to play it because the guy went to lunch with a selfish human being.
Yeah.
But I mean, they do good work. It's not like their games are shitty quality or anything. Hate probably had the best minis I've ever seen. The game was just okay. But yeah, I wish they would do smaller things. I guess they did do gizmos.
Well, they branch off and help because they did Unfair, Gizmos.
Yeah.
But they team. It's not just them. Like,
right.
So it's like Good Games Publishing did that, and they were in on what's the
Project
Explosion.
They did do. Yep. Project Elite was another one that they they picked up.
So, I mean, I think they kind of co-publish or help out.
Who did Cthulhu
companies.
Death May Die?
Them.
Yep, that's what I thought. And well, see, the thing is they also kind of do a lot of stuff that pisses off their fans. Like it's like, hey, like, how about make something available for everyone?
I've been seeing online with that people are getting their expansions.
Yep. For
Death May Die.
Yeah.
Not the core game.
Right. Yeah. Some people are getting like, I really just want to buy the damn mini.
Yeah.
Like
the huge one.
Yeah, the huge one just as a centerpiece because it's awesome. And the one that they had at Gen Con a couple of years ago, it was painted, and I'm like, it's so good. But back to Ethnos.
Yes.
I wish they would support it more. It definitely could have used an expansion. It didn't need one, but it could have used one. Would have made it nice. Just to have the huge variety of different types of factions. But it's a solid small game. So that's my 69.
All right, my number 69 is a game I know
it's
you
Fog of Love. Hey,
you haven't played this yet.
Okay.
We're just gonna keep going with the civilization theme here.
Okay.
It's Taste Your Minstrel Games. It is Gentis Deluxeified Edition. It was unrated.
Is that a Civ game?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It is like early man civilization.
Yeah.
It doesn't like you don't like
Neanderthal.
When they call it Civ game, it's not like you're not.
You don't have like internet by the end of
it.
Right.
It's the early man type deal, and the art is really kind of caveman. It's like
caveman
art. It's like little stick people and the different odds and ends. The coolest thing with this game is your actions that you can take per turn, like what you do. Because some may take 1 sand timer.
Okay.
Some may take 2. Right. So depending on what actions you choose throughout your turn, you have a track that has spaces, and once that's full with sand timers, then your turn's over. You can't do anything else. So you may do a bunch of little actions, but some of them are like 2 or 3 glasses. You have to put 2 or 3 hourglasses out.
Interesting. Okay.
And then once it's full,
so it's like it's like a reverse resource.
Right. And I guess that's kind of that brings in the time deal. It takes longer to do something, so you're not going to get as much done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and the art is hit or miss depending on if you like. I like it because it's very simple.
I'll take a look while you're talking about it.
But obviously it's competitive. You're playing cards to give you points. It's just whoever has the most points at the end wins. But you're building up your civilization, and but like I said, it's a window of time. I mean,
that board is
right. That's what I'm saying. Right, but I would argue with that I would say the same. If you think that's blah, then you think Teotihuacan's board is blah.
Sure. Yeah. I totally agree.
Right. That's the type you just don't like that kind of art.
I wasn't sure. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really call that art anyway. Like when I mentioned art, I mean like actual like art. I thought you were talking about like there's like cards or something that had art on them.
Oh no.
Like I guess so. Board design is really what you're talking about.
It's just a simplistic game in all.
Yeah.
Which goes into it being like the dawn of man. There wasn't much out there and stuff, but so it's victory point, slight civ building. It's still that you aren't going from point A to point B way down the timeline, but you are creating your civilization, making it trying to make it better than your neighbors.
Okay.
There really is no player interaction, not a ton of player interaction with it.
That's
fine. The coolest thing about the game is the time track.
Yeah.
And knowing how you want to approach it,
Yeah. It's kind of reminding me of like the rage in Blood Rage. Like the more you do, it's like boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But
and I like that. I like that resource management.
And of course, Deluxeified, all the awesomely cool wooden bits and and everything with it and stuff.
Did you see? You talk about the deluxe edition. There's a game that's on Kickstarter, or was on Kickstarter, where they had a deluxe edition, but they they didn't fulfill it for like a lot of backers. Like it was supposed to be like different type of card stock, linen finish on card stock, and then there was another one. I'm trying to remember the game.
Well, I don't know if that was a deluxe. I saw something similar to that with Reavers of Midgard.
Maybe that was it.
But it wasn't necessarily being a deluxe. It's just they thought the cards were supposed to be
linen finish. It was like it was stretch goals is what it was.
Yeah, and then the plastic.
Yep, the game trays
were broken because of the rubber bands.
Yep.
And I guess they sent them out without using the thickness that they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to sit there fixing it. So they're working and fixing it. But they were doing all that, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't back that game. I'm waiting. I'm just buying it retail. It's not going to have all that plastic shit. I just put it in the box.
Yep.
Call it good.
And I think also Tasty Minstrel, there was another Kickstarter where they're just calling basically everything a deluxe edition.
What their game plan is now, they're almost like restoration games.
Okay.
In a way. Because they're taking an old shitty game and they're throwing metal coins and a bunch of wood in it, and they're calling it $100.
Yeah, and it's like, look, you can't. That's your game. It's not a deluxe edition. You're just making the game. Like if deluxe edition is like, okay, it's $80. I can get a standard edition for $60, but they're not doing that. They're just offering, hey, you just get a deluxe, and it's like, then it's your game.
Which I wish I would have jumped on that wagon back with Orleans when.
I agree. Yeah,
because that one.
I just want the box.
The deluxe. Yeah.
Okay,
so anyway,
sweet. Yeah. I remember you talking about that, and you backed out of it for the Kickstarter, and then you got it again.
I bought a Kickstarter,
and then you ended up playing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. My number 68 is this one hurts. This one hurts. It was number 21 last year, so it fell 47 spots, and it was number 9 in 2017. And it fell because I haven't played it enough because it doesn't work well with 3. I don't think you can play it with 2. You need at least 4, and that is Cosmic Encounter.
Oh.
So,
I still haven't played it.
Cosmic Encounter is still a fantastic negotiation game with like 160, 170 unique races, all varying from beginner to intermediate to advanced abilities. And at the end of the day, this is a negotiation game. You have a deck of cards, a deck of cards that tells you who you have to attack. Everyone's a certain color, so I draw. If I'm purple, it says, "Oh, attack the yellow player." So then I choose a planet that they have, send a couple of my ships. They attack. Then we offer, "Hey, does anyone want to help me?" If you help the attacker and we win, then you get a colony. Your first 1 to 5 controlled planets wins. And the defense, if you help the defense, then you get a bunch of like rewards for helping them win. And then you have a hand of cards that have attack cards that add to your strength. Negotiation, if you both play negotiation, you can trade some stuff, and it's essentially a tie. You have modifiers. You have abilities. Like there are what's called what are they called? They're not flash, but basically they're alien race specific ability, and they're in cards, and if it's not yours, then you can do the top one. If it is yours, then you can do the bottom one, and they go back into your hand. But how you get a new hand is if you have no attack cards, then you have to show everyone and then discard, then draw back up.
Right.
I love negotiation games. I feel like I'm somewhat decent at it, and some people don't like negotiation because it's almost unwarranted conflict. Like if I'm trying to negotiate with you, people don't like to make others mad, so they'll just go along with it, or they will just not be very good at it. They're like, "Hey, will you help me?" "No." "Why would I?" "Okay." It's like, that's not negotiation. You just asked a question. Like, sweeten the deal. But at the end of the day, Cosmic Encounter is that. But what makes the game fantastic is the sheer amount of replayability with the different aliens. Last time I played it probably was a year ago, and one of the cards that a friend had was he could cheat, and so he could and what he was doing was he was asking questions and pointing at something, and I was just looking at what he was pointing at. Whenever he brought his hand back, he was taking cards from the top of the deck and putting them in his hand. And then
So
at the
gets
end,
caught,
if he gets caught, he loses the ability.
Yeah.
There was a thing. So if it was like if he got caught, then he had to do it. But it was funny at the end of the game. He's like, "Yeah, I was cheating," and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he's like, "No, my card." I thought he was just saying he cheated. I'm like, "Why would you tell someone that?" I was about to flip shit. And then once he's like, "No, I had the cheater ability," I'm like, "Oh, that is so funny." There are some really wanky fucking abilities in this game. Some are like absolutely busted. Others like I wouldn't say this game's balanced, but they're damn near close. At 170 alien races, you gotta have some outliers in there.
For sure.
I think one of them was on the most annoying characters was the, okay, if either you let me win or I get to add my attack power to my it's just now there as a strength, so this is permanent. It's like you played a 30. Like, what? So you're always going to get 30 as the attack? So, but that's what makes the game very negotiation heavy, because then it's like, oh, hey, now you're an ally. And there's a bunch of shared ways to win. One of the alien races changes the way to win. Like, it's like, okay, this is the new way we have to win. So, like, I could go on. I haven't played the game enough to do what Tom Vassell did and do a top 10 Cosmic Encounter races. I want to. I know I've played the game enough and seen enough abilities I could probably make the list, but I'd have to look through all of them and be like, oh yeah. Like, the one that I played was like the Rage. That's my cat sneaking out, going to do drugs. It was like called Rage, and it was basically like someone took a planet from me and everyone helped that one person. And I'm like, okay. And he had the ability where I could discard a card, and if no one could discard a card that was like the same type, or like if it was an attack card, if it was as high, then I got to destroy like 2 ships of theirs. And I was like, you are all getting fucked. So it's still really good. I will never get rid of Cosmic Encounter. But it's literally this far back because of just lack of play. That's really it. So, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I will say one of the times I played it was with my friend Luke, John, and Robert. And John and Robert both said they didn't like the game, but they still played it with me. So, thanks for that. But that's my number 68.
My number 68 was 26 last year.
Ooh, gross.
It was unrated the year before that, and the only reason it's dropped, it's not because I dislike it anymore, it's just it needs more cards because I've played it so much, is Downforce.
See? Man, you're just coming around.
No, I love it. It's just I have played this game a ton, and those ability cards, I mean, it would be simple just to put out
just like
another set
an
of
enhanced pack or something.
8 cards, you know, or whatever, just to give some more abilities to kind of randomize and stuff. Maybe do like what they did, because what they did with that one expansion, it was the double-sided board.
Yep.
And then it had a set of those cards in it.
Oh, okay.
So if they just did another one of those, just another board with the cards.
Yeah.
Throw it in. Because the first one was Danger Circuit. Make this one
Safety Circuit.
Oh, whatever.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a line.
Drag race. That'd be kind of interesting.
No, it wouldn't. Shut up.
But
every pack of cards is like 10 movement. Yay!
But like I said, it's a card-driven racing game where you don't always necessarily move your own car when it's your turn.
It's like Camel Up.
You play a card.
Camel Up like that? I never played it.
Kind of, not really. It's, but you the only time it's like that is if you have the camel that's underneath and there's some on your back and you're moving them.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
But
I just sucked.
So when you play a card and it'll have 3 or 4, maybe up to 6 colors on it, and you move starting with the top, that color, that means spaces, you get to choose where they go. There's an ability that lets you
reverse
the other person, or there's an ability somebody can get there where they always move their color of car, because you can really hose people by moving
blocking
and walking them in and stuff like that.
That's what got me.
Yeah,
the blocking.
So it's just one of those things. You know, it just needs a little bit more. I've played this probably 20 times or so.
Did you win? Did you win when we played? I think you did.
I don't
remember.
I think I did because I didn't spend a fortune on my cars.
That's right.
Because how you win is you have to your ranking as far as how you place in the races with your 1 or 2 cars or however. Then you have to subtract how much you paid for it, and then any other bonuses, and then your total amount at the end is who the winner is. So
it's okay.
It's a simple game. It just needs a little bit more variation.
It was super hyped by the time I played it, and then whenever I did play it, I was like the hype didn't match up for what it was.
Yeah. It's the best racing game out right now, in my opinion, as far as race cars. Now, I know there's other racing games with stuff. Formula D, no.
Formula D sounds cool, but it sounds so freaking fiddly with all those dice and okay, I need to. Okay, so crap.
Yeah. So this is the best race car game.
Yeah.
Out there.
All right.
So,
my number 67 is apparently new to the list, and it's our first crossover.
Really?
Yep.
Like in this.
Not in the segment. It's just on the list.
Gotcha.
I am very surprised at. It's not new on the list. It went up. Sorry, I guess I wrote new on accident. It was number 80 last year. Thank God I have this. So okay, I'm just an idiot apparently. It was number 80. It still is a crossover, and I don't believe it was on my list in 2017. I am not seeing it. Can you guess?
Crossover.
It is a crossover. It was from probably 2 or 3 sections ago.
Let's see here really quick. Wouldn't be that. It's not gonna be This War's Mine because that's gonna be higher. Spartacus now.
No.
I would say it's probably going to be Epic Spell Wars.
No. Remember I said that was later on.
Oh, Euphoria.
Yeah. Euphoria, build a better dystopia. Don't know why I wrote new on there, but yeah, it was 80 last year, and now it's 67, so it went up, what is that, 13 spaces?
Yeah.
And this is actually, I have not played the expansion, I just played it again, and just remembered how solid of a game it was. The worker bumping is fantastic. I love there are 3 of the different tracks, and you can slowly move a marker, because they dig tunnels to each other, and once you get there, then you start getting the abilities, or you start getting the resources from each other. So the game is a dice worker placement that is extremely thematic. I think the theme is really cool. Last time I played it, we listened to I think it was Megadeth's Dystopia album, and I was like, this album's really good, because I was just looking for music. And then a friend of mine was like, yeah, that whole album is about how Democrats are ruining America, and I'm like, well, the album was still good. And I like the bliss idea is where they're huffing their gas. I mentioned it when you talked about it, that I like that you can spend resources to build, and I like that star thing. It's kind of a small race aspect, but it's not the whole focus. And it's like, okay, this is gonna go there, but now people get dinged if they didn't help build it, but you can always go back and be like, okay, this is starting to affect me, I need to go ahead and contribute. I like the special abilities of the different types of people that you have, depending on which faction you want to move up.
Right.
It's a solid game.
Right.
So
there's a lot of ebb and flow in it too with stuff.
Yeah, I feel like every time I play it, it's always close. It's not like one runaway winner.
Yeah, the expansion, I'm curious what it's...
Go ahead and grab it.
What it's going to do,
Yeah.
Excuse me, kitty.
And my cat's in the way. Just kick her. So...
It's like... The I can write descended from their lofty perch. Way of life, imposing a new way of life upon the Euphorians, Wastelanders, and Subterrans.
More drugs!
Is this a fresh start for the dystopian citizens,
Let's
or will history repeat itself?
Let's hope they're giving us a little bit of that crystal.
Right. So it looks like there's a new Antiques Bazaar board for artifact cards. There's 54 new recruit cards.
Awesome.
There's large wooden commodity tokens.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And then there's an Automa components and rules for solo play.
Okay.
And for playing 2-player games. So this must be, because the other one I played wasn't
Gotcha.
unofficial. So this brings in the solo aspect.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. I might have to dig at that because
Right.
it's the official. Probably has all the components.
Oh, it's
and stuff.
16 market tiles. Yeah, that's what they were called, markets. That's pretty cool. The Antiques Bazaar is going to be big because it was essentially it was a luck. Hey, I just get to draw from this deck. It looks like probably with this one you can spend any resources to grab them, so you have a little bit more control over what you need. Yeah, awesome. That's
Is that out and about, or did you get that at a?
I think I ordered it from their website.
Okay.
No, I got it off Amazon.
Okay. Cool.
But it is available. It's not anything unique. So
Sweet.
That's Euphoria. Build a better dystopia.
All right. So that was your 67.
Mm-hmm.
My 67 is another one new to the list. We just talked about this a little bit ago. I've only played it once, but I know it's going to be on my list and probably keep growing. It's a big game.
Neat.
You have the expansion and I don't.
Euphoria.
No.
Wow, I honestly have no
Feast for Odin.
Oh, okay.
So,
We did just talk about that.
Yeah.
It's over there. I have played... How many Uwe Rosenberg games have you played before that one?
Agricola, Caverna.
Okay. Did you do Caverna too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew we did Agricola.
I think that might be it because
Okay.
there's the other one I want to play that I haven't done yet is the water one, the port.
Oh,
Vassal loves.
Le Havre?
Le Havre, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
The only one I've played with his name on it is Indian Summer.
Yeah, I haven't touched
Because
any
he
of those,
did
yeah.
the three, the Cottage Garden, Indian Summer, and there's the other one.
Yeah. And,
All basically his Tetris games.
yeah. And this brings in he got in that phase because that's part of what a Feast for Odin has.
Yep.
Is because you start off with a board of negatives.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and as you're getting pieces and buying stuff, you're placing them in there, and it's covering up negatives.
Oh, I see.
So you're trying to cover up as many of those as you can before the end of the game.
Okay.
And then that's how you go. So you start off with like a negative. God, I don't know how many negatives there are on that board.
Yeah.
But, you do that, but there's so many paths that you can take for this game. And you just you don't have to worry about ever being spot blocked.
Oh, okay.
Necessarily,
That's good.
because there's always something to do.
Sure,
Even
yeah.
if you are on a path and somebody takes a spot, I mean, there's always something. It's not like
It's not like
you
I
have to go down
okay.
this line to do what you want to do. There's always ways that you can kind
Okay.
of... At least, I say always. I've played it once. But I've watched playthrough, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So...
It's like, I know there's like 70 worker placement spots, which if I tell
It's
anyone
nuts.
that, first of all, a friend of mine who's a regular, he's been on channel multiple times, Devin, he's not the biggest fan of worker placement, which is why in Paladins of the West Kingdom, he was like very upset because he thought he was going to beat me at worker placement. And like the hubris of that guy. No, I'm kidding. But whenever I'm like, yeah, 70, like, it's like, that's what? I have to learn 70 different spots?
Well, and when they say 70, and yeah, there is a lot there, but several of the spots are, if you go here, you get one of this thing. If you go here, you get two of that thing. Like, some
I
of the
see.
spots
so
are
they're
like,
kind of the same.
some of them. No, there's still a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then they made an
there's gonna
expansion.
there's going to be a symbol. Once you get the symbols down, though,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty universal, the symbols and stuff. If you can get yourself... I've never been able... I say never. Again, played once. Getting your entire... Like, it's hard to get all the negatives gone.
Okay.
You know, because it's Tetris. I mean, you have to get lucky. You have to get the right spot.
Yeah.
The right things to cover up and everything. What makes this game hard is the setup and put up, because there's so much crap.
Yeah.
It needs you're gonna need
Needs an insert.
if you like it, play it and like it. You're gonna need to get that insert for it.
There's an insert for it?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, and the first player marker is a huge moose, wooden moose.
Oh, that's cool.
that they've made and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a great one. I mean,
We keep looking over there because it's on my shelf
right
of
there.
unplayed games.
Yeah, unplayed in Shrink.
In Shrink,
it's
yeah.
been in Shrink for a long time.
The expansion has it though. I think so. It's only been on there for a couple months.
Yeah. So you haven't played Caverna then?
No.
This would be what I
haven't played Agricola either.
Agricola I've played. I don't care for Agricola. Caverna I really, really enjoyed. This I'm not gonna get rid of Caverna, but this one is better than Caverna.
Cool.
But they're just different. Like Caverna doesn't deal with the Tetrisy stuff. It's strictly
yeah.
You're going at. But this is better in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wonderful.
I have absolutely no doubt that it would be on my list.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
But just haven't played it. So good deal.
Yep.
Number 66. This is an old one. This makes me happy. Cosmic Encounter was also an older one. It was number...
It's your oldest one, probably.
No.
Cosmic was in the 70s when it first came out.
Yes, technically, yes. Cosmic Encounter is my oldest game, but I do not have the 70s version. Wiz War actually might be older than that. That's the
really?
eighth edition.
I'll take a peek.
But this game was number 43 last year, so fell 23 spots, and it was number 22 the year before that. One of the first games I ever played that integrated an app, and that is Alchemist. One of the games that you, for some reason, won't play.
I think I'm psyched out about it.
Like, yeah, I don't know who. I don't know who told you.
People have said it's like
super
like a child brain burny.
It's not. You played
it was what's his name off of. It was Eric Summer is who did it to me.
Thanks a lot, Eric. Dude, if you can play Feast for Odin, you can play Alchemist. Yeah. Like, can you do any type of deduction? Like, okay, this shows a blue positive. That means that this symbol cannot be a blue negative. I did it! That's pretty much it. That's like... Now, if you include the expansion, which was not the greatest, had some good things and some kind of bad things, and the golem, now that is a whole... That's a whole nother thing. Like, that took me a while to figure out. Maybe that was just a poor rule book on their part, poor explanation, but that took me a while of just playing the game by myself to figure out how to actually reactivate the golem. That one was something else. But Alchemist, if you don't know, is a CGE game where you are trying to figure out formulas for certain like ingredients and publish theories, and you get points for that. You have to use an app because whenever you scan 2 cards with the app, it tells you what type of combination that they make. And you have a player sheet that says, so basically, like I just said, there's 3 colors, red, green, blue, positive, negative, or nothing. So there can be neutral, which means, okay, those things just don't go together. But if you find out, like, okay, the crow's foot and the raven's feather create a red positive, then off of those 2, you look down and you mark off all the negatives. And that's it, because it's like, it can't be a negative. It just showed that those ingredients made a positive. And over time, and you'll never find out what all of the ingredients make. You do the best with what you got, and that's where the game becomes interesting, because I might be trying to figure out the total formula for the raven's wing and or feather and the crow's foot. And then it's like, okay, so I figured out what those are. So based off those ingredients, I can publish a theory. And it goes face down, and I'm like, this is what I figured it out.
Right.
But you could be working on something else and then publish, and I could back your publishings.
Right.
But let's say we are working together on the same things, and I think that a certain formula is a positive red, positive blue, and positive green. And because I could be just bullshitting and be like, oh, well, I hope I got it.
It wouldn't be bullshit.
And like, let's say I got 2 out of the 3, then you could be like, well, you might not have figured out red, but you figured out green, and you know green's negative. You can debunk theories, which I then lose reputation and points, and then you can republish. So that's where the player interaction comes in. You have a track that I love. This is also in viticulture. Is you decide when you're going to get up, and the earlier, like, okay, I want to be first player. I get no bonus, but I'm first player. People can be like, okay, I'll go later and get some free resources. Like, and CGE does a phenomenal job with their rulebook, making every action like some thematic tie-in, and how you also can find out ingredients is you can test them on a intern, essentially. You have to pay him to do it. Or you can test them on yourself. But if you test them on yourself, you can have negative effects, which means like you can be one where you went crazy and the rulebook says you're doing cartwheels naked in the streets and you lose a reputation. Or you can become sick, which means you have to go like last. This game is fantastic. I would say that the expansion, The King's Golem, is not a must in any way. But if you play Alchemist a lot, and apparently some people say it gets very samey and you can figure it out, then the expansion will add a complete new puzzle that is like radically like I did my own how to play for this. I did an own explanation of how to animate the golem. I guarantee you I'd have to rewatch that to figure out how to do it because I have no clue. But yeah, that's my number 66. It's not that complex, I promise you.
History class. Cosmic Encounter 77, Wiz War 83. So
okay.
Pretty close.
All right.
Close.
Cool. I just knew that
yeah, they're both.
They had an 8th edition for Wiz War, so like that has to be old. So 83,
for sure.
77.
I don't know what
Okay.
it looked like.
So yes, technically Cosmic Encounter is my oldest game ever.
Yes. This next game is new to the list.
Okay.
It is from Slugfest Games, which did Red Dragon Inn. And
Oh,
all that
okay,
stuff.
yeah.
This is the Red Dragon Inn Battle for Greyport. This is a cooperative deck building game.
Oh, okay. I just
got
have the
turned-
regular Red Dragon in.
No. I got turned on to this when I was at Origins.
Okay.
Somebody was telling me about it. And it uses the characters, so several of them, not all of them, of characters from that Red Dragon Inn universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cooperative deck builder. It is not story-driven, campaign-driven, kind of.
Okay.
You're protecting the Greyport. So like there'll be different monsters, and there'll be like story driven. There'll be different levels of them coming in. You're recruiting more people and weapons and stuff to be able to play out.
Yep.
To beat, and you can help out your other people. What's the one interesting mechanic of this is you have your hero card, and it's a little bit oversized from the normal deck of cards, and you can actually play that card as well. And then it doesn't come back in your hand until the refresh phase. But you can play it on their turn to help them out.
Okay.
You can play it on your turn or whatever, but then you can't use it on yours.
Yeah.
But then it just comes right back to your
Something
deal.
you can play. Okay.
It's a typical deck builder as far as just, you play, discard, build this stuff. You're damaging, helping heal. It's just kind of a tower. It's almost like a tower defense deck builder in a way.
Okay.
I haven't played it a ton, but I really enjoy what I've been playing because you can play two-handed solo, play with it and stuff. There's a pirates expansion, so it brings in where like there's pirates attacking Greyport, and you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. Have you played just regular Red Dragon Inn?
No.
Okay.
I have not. That's the game. What's cool is this game actually came with. There's a new character that got introduced with this deck builder.
Okay.
Called I can't remember what his name was, but he's the Chrono Mage. So he's a character in that, but then this game also came with all the Red Dragon Inn supplies.
Oh, that's neat.
So I gave that to Denton.
Okay.
Or Robert.
Yeah. Red Dragon Inn
Robert
is
Denton,
it's a take that drinking game, but you don't actually drink for it because whenever I bought it, a friend of mine, he doesn't drink alcohol at all, and I was like, "You want to play a drinking game?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, you don't actually drink. It's pretty fun though. Like I want to get all like there's a bunch of expansions for it.
There's a bunch.
But yeah, it's very whimsical beer and pretzels game like that I really like. I did buy they have what's it called? It's like Fluffy or something. It's like the wizard's rabbit that you can play as. He has his own deck of cards. You can play as the rabbit. It's pretty funny. But I still have it because it's spoilers. It's not on the list. It's just because it's one of those types of just party fun games. But not the best with 3, of course. It's one of those, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I love my deck builders, so that was a unique one. The cards always come in 2 colors. There's blue and red.
Okay.
So blue can only use blue items. Red can only use red.
Okay.
Or blue is generally magic.
Yep.
Right. Stuff like that. So it's really cool. You fight through story.
Yeah, that's pretty
like
interesting.
that.
I like because all the expansions for the regular game are just about the bar and like drinking. It's cool that they actually are expanding further.
And apparently it's fairly popuar. I mean, I didn't realize that. I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah, they have like their whole booth at Gen Con.
Yeah, because the guy I went with was telling me about it, and I was like, really? And I went and I looked at their booth, and they had a bunch of them there. So then when we went by Miniature Market on the way back home, I bought this stuff there.
Gotcha.
Just because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Dragon Inn, the Battle for Greyport.
Neat. My number 65 is brand new to the list, and I actually played this game and recorded it right before putting my list together. So it is appropriately placed, I think, and that is Watergate. So, Watergate is also brand new this year. So, Watergate, if you haven't guessed on what it's about the Hindenburg disaster. No, it's
I was saying, like, that's not what it's about.
it's about the Watergate scandal, and this is basically Twilight Struggle in 30 to 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of the same feel of Twilight Struggle, except obviously Twilight Struggle has a lot more going on. One person plays the Nixon administration trying to hinder the journalists, the Deep Throat guys that are trying. That was his name. He was Deep Throat. He was awesome. That's my porn name. That's where I got the inspiration. But so as both sides play radically different, have their own deck of 20 cards, and the Deep Throat has the conspirators, or Deep Throat has his they're not conspirators. What are they called? I can't remember, but he has like one-time use events that help him out, and then the journalists they just have events that are one-time use. And what you're doing is essentially you're playing tug of war for initiation or initiative. The momentum, which is a red token, and Nixon wins by getting 5 momentum tokens. Mm-hmm. And the journalists win if they pin 2 pictures of journalists through evidence tokens that you're also fighting for to Nixon. But he has ways, so there's 3 tokens out on the board that are face down that he knows what they are. The journalist plays cards to try and get them to his side at the end of, once everyone plays their hand of 5, then you basically, okay, whatever's on your side, you get. So if the momentum's on your side, Nixon would get it. And vice versa. So if a journalist gets tokens, that he places them on the color-coded spots, and if Nixon does, he places them similar on the color-coded spots but face down, so they disrupt connections. This game is so thinky. It's like a $25 game, and made by a company that I don't believe has made anything else other than Pipeline up there. And whenever I went to Gen Con, I was getting Pipeline, and he's like, hey, have you heard about Watergate? I'm like, I have, but can you tell me about it? He's like, well, do you like Twilight Struggle? I said, yeah. He's like, you have to get Watergate. And I'm like, sure, I'll pick it up. Why not? Why the hell not? And it has not disappointed. Hell, brand new, and that's 65 on the list. And it's so good. It's so thinky. It gives you that same feel in a third. Our game took 30 minutes. And it's a solid one. I really like it. So, yeah. And I love Richard Nixon in Futurama.
Oh yeah,
that's it. So that's my 65.
All right, my number 65 was 24 last year.
Okay.
And 14 before that.
25 last year. Oh, so it's okay.
It's fallen.
Ooh, hooey!
And the only reason it's fallen is because I haven't played it.
Because it's shit. Yeah, I know.
Well, no. I really like it. It's just I haven't played it. I mean, I've played its full version more lately than this 2-player version. This is Seven Wonders Duel.
Ah. Soon it'll
because
be
we've
off
been playing.
the
No, it won't be off the list.
It will.
But so 2-player Seven Wonders. You're drafting cards still, but instead of drafting by passing cards, there's a unique design on the table, and you're taking a card, and then it could reveal other cards. It more or less is Seven Wonders. There's a little bit of tweaks to the rules as far as the science and stuff like that. And you can win by science, you can win by military, you can win by...
Military was the track, right? The tug-of-war track?
Yeah,
okay.
If you got it all the way down to one side. Then
science was... I think
science,
was that an auto win?
If you get one of each of the symbols, then it's an auto win.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which there's more than just the 3 symbols in Duel.
There's 5?
6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, I think 6. But what makes this game even better is when you throw Pantheon in it, because it gives more choices. It gives more.
According to you, you say it cuts away the hate drafting.
Right. Because there's tokens that go out on the cards. Mm-hmm. It'll tell you what cards they go out on, and then if you get those cards, get those tokens, then that's currency to reduce costs of stuff.
Okay.
On the
Yep.
god tracks and stuff like that. So, and there's some powerful cards in the god stuff, like crazy powerful.
I don't like Seven Wonders Duel. According to Brad and a lot of other people, the Pantheon expansion would make me like it. Not necessarily. It doesn't fix, like, it's not one of those expansions that says it fixes the game. It would fix it probably for me because I hate the hate drafting in that.
Right.
Like,
if you played it with Kat, right?
Yeah.
And Kat was hate drafting.
Yeah.
See, I don't throw coins away though. You need to, if you would play it with somebody else
it could be
doesn't
true.
hate draft, I think you would probably think.
But I don't necessarily like the okay, I'm gonna take this card and then flip, and it flips one, and it's like, oh, I need that one,
right?
And I don't get the chance to get it. At least in Seven Wonders, I get a hand of cards, and I don't know what you had, so I only know what I have. So that's still kind
risk,
of a rule, yeah.
Because like whenever me and Amy play, she always goes science because she always will go science.
Yeah.
In that, but like she has 5 of the 6 symbols or whatever, and you're like, okay, do I? Because there's only like one. She gets it whittled down to where I have to take a card that's going to reveal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. If this is a science, then she wins.
Exactly. You know, so I also don't like that either. But
it just brings in some and edge of your seat kind of stuff to it, you know. So anyway, Seven Wonders Duel. It's not going to go off the list anytime soon. It's just it hasn't been played for a while because we've been playing more than 2-player games. We've been playing regular Seven Wonders.
Yep.
Quite a bit.
I also would argue Seven Wonders 2-player is pretty good.
I don't like the dummy player.
I like the dummy player because both players get control over it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and pull a Rado and say it's the best 2-player variant ever. It's good, but if you have no one else to play Seven Wonders with, if you really only have 2 people, I would still say Seven Wonders Duel is the way to go, clearly. But it's not bad. Like, you're missing a lot out if you're playing Seven Wonders just as 2, because you're missing the trade between the neighbors. But okay, good deal. My number 64 was number 53 last year, so fell 11 spots, but it was number 100 in 2017. So it has gone up quite a bit, and which is really weird because I very much like this game, but there's just better games out there, really. That's really what it comes down to. It's Sagrada. Sagrada is a beautiful game about making stained glass windows. Spoiler, Azul is not on my list for no particular reason. I just thought it was okay. The first game, I did not play the stained glass one. I felt like, well, I have Sagrada. Why would I play Azul? But apparently the summer one is...
with the little flower designs. I haven't played that one.
Yeah. But yeah, there's nothing against Azul for any reason. But Sagrada is a dice drafting game, and kind of a puzzly one at that. You have a piece of like a stained glass window, and you slide a puzzle piece in it. Not a puzzle piece, a card that dictates the pattern of your dice. And you are drafting dice, and you place them, and you have to start from a corner, and you branch out from there. But the caveat is you cannot have 2 dice of the same color or 2 dice of the same number next to each other. Orthogonally, up, down, left, or right. They can be diagonal. But your pattern could be, okay, if it's a number there, that number has to go there, but it doesn't matter the color. If it's a color, that color has to go there, but it doesn't matter the number. But what's really cool is they have a neat balancing mechanism because there's special powers that everyone can use. So the more difficult card you pick, the more tokens you get to be able to use these powers, because they get more and more expensive as more people are doing them. And they're also worth points at the end of the game if you don't use them. But so the easier one that you do, you don't get as much. So that kind of, there's multiple ways to mitigate your dice that you're drafting. There's secret objectives and public objectives that everyone's going for. This game just kind of hits on all cylinders for a lot of things. What they did really well was with their 5 to 6 player expansion, they included a little tray that you can store dice on and use for later purposes. Yeah. So I really like that. That definitely helped out a lot, where you're like, well, there's nothing really here that I can use, but maybe later. So I'll take this yellow one and put it here. And then
have you played the Passion expansion, or do you own the
I
Passion
own the
expansion?
Passion expansion.
What does it do?
I could not tell you.
Because I don't own that one. I don't even own the 5 to 6 player of it yet.
Yeah,
but...
I almost turned away from the 5 to 6 player because I thought it was just that, but it added more. The Passion one, which is actually to them a one of three, like a one of three of the expansions. Let's see. I wish I could tell you.
I know it's a really tiny box.
It is. It is
So
very, very tiny. And
sold out super fast.
Floodgate Games, The Great Facades is this thing, a Passion. So what does it do? Let's see. Inspiration cards, rare glass, dice, and cards, rare glass, private objectives, and symmetry, public objective. That's right. It had like the almost kind of like what the role player expansion did, like with the unique crystal one. So they have like special abilities and apparently objectives. So it's like a unique type of glass that you can put in.
Gotcha.
And Floodgate Games will always have a special place in my heart. They were one of the few first guys that sent me a free copy of Sagrada. I just happened to mention I do reviews, and because we were all gaming playing Secret Hitler together, funny enough. And yeah, I just told him, I was like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and he's like, I just asked him, I didn't even ask him for a review copy, but he's like, yeah, man, no problem, and sent me Sagrada, and that was whenever it was hard to get a hold of, and I didn't expect him to send me a brand new game. So they're always awesome. I always go say hi to them every Gen Con, and they just had a baby, so congrats to them on that. But yeah, Sagrada's a phenomenal game.
Yeah, I have a few of their games.
Yeah, Vault Wars is another their game. There is Bosk, which is about their tree, and I was like, I can't do trees. Photosynthesis.
That one's actually supposed to be better.
It looks a little bit more gamey, and they just went on News at 11 is one of their party games, and they just went on Kickstarter for another game that I backed. So they're doing really well. So that's my 64.
All right, my number 64, I could have swore was on my list last year, but it must have just happened like right after I made the list.
Right, and you know what I just realized? Vault Wars was one that I don't have on here. It wasn't even a contender because I forgot to write it down.
Gotcha.
I don't quite think it would have made the list though. Looking at just it would definitely have been higher up. It's a fun game, but it's it might have maybe beat out Fog of Love, but I'm not 100% on that. So at least I didn't worry.
That worked.
Didn't ruin my list.
So my 64, like I said, is new to the list. I thought it was last year's, but must have just missed the window. Is Australia.
I don't think you played it. Last year.
Yeah, I think I'd gotten it at like Christmas time. I think I got it for Christmas maybe, and I didn't. Maybe we already made the list in like November or whatever.
Right.
So
and,
so anyway, Australia. It's a Martin Wallace game.
I'm actually surprised this is that high on your list. Like, I've heard a lot of negative things about the game, but
I like it because I mean it's kind of an interesting mix. It's got your train stuff. It's got kind of that World War One aspect to it. You know, I like how it's pretty much you're building up your resources, you're building up track, you're going through, and these creatures are going to wake up, and you are buying soldiers, buying machinery to help battle these things when they come up, because they are going to, when they come up, they are going to come after your track and your stuff, and you're trying to fight them off.
Okay.
They're going
to
building
a train.
You're building a train track,
a railroad.
A railroad through, because there's resources out and about. In the land. You start on the shore. So as you're going through and doing that and picking up these resources and all that stuff, these things will wake up. Now there's a time track. So everything you do costs time. So it has the time track just like some games have done where if you're going to do this, it's going to cost you 3, so you move. The person that's in the end will always
get to go next.
Turn.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Cthulhu is on that track.
Okay.
And it's moving too. And once Cthulhu's marker gets all the way down to the end, then he rises.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to fight Cthulhu, which is
cool.
Not a pretty sight.
He's easy.
Yeah.
Pushover, really.
It's just kind of interesting because I think I like it because it's the interesting theme to it. You know, it's like it's a train game, but then you're also fighting Cthulhu.
Train
and shit like
game.
That. The name is confusing.
Okay.
Why they put a Z in there? 'Cause there's not really zombie stuff.
I
don't
hate
understand that. But that aside, it's a unique game.
Maybe Martin Wallace thought it was called This Is a Cthulhu or something.
But the uniqueness is why it's on this list, because there isn't any other games like that. You know,
Sure.
A Cthulhu train game.
I guess not.
I
guess not.
Because I'm not a huge Cthulhu.
Well, Eldritch
fan.
Horror has a train on the
I've
cover.
never done Eldritch.
And Cthulhu is in that game.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty close to Australia.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not. There is a train on the cover.
I know Eldritch Horror. You're all over the world.
You are all over the world.
But so anyway, it's got train building. It's got military. Mm-hmm. It's got Cthulhu.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
yeah,
it's just unique.
It's
just
weird.
a hodgepodge of weird
it's
shit.
A weird thing.
And,
I know I've heard negative things about it, but I couldn't remember what they are.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not the greatest. I mean, it's 64.
Yeah,
and you know, it may not stay up there forever, but it's still.
Do you think this is one of the games that the Pub Meeple thing was accurate on, or would you have put it further? I'm wondering if I'm just saying that because I wonder if the jumps that you have would be as radical or not radical based off if you did the index card. And it's hard to say.
I mean, when you're ranking that many games and there's like a 5 or 6 difference on some of these, I mean, it's hard to say. You know, I mean,
because when you're making a list, so if you're ever wanting to do a top 100, you're gonna realize that it really depends on the day. Yeah. Like if I was rating certain games, and it could be like, oh hey, well I just happened to be in a better mood this day or something. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean,
one.
I would definitely put it above a lot of the ones I've done, just because. I mean, I've played Australia probably 6 or 7 times this year, solo and as groups and stuff and everything. So I think it's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it just becomes at some point, at least for me, whenever I'm doing a top 100, top 10 is I'm very objective about it. I'm like, this is like, with some subjectivity in it, because obviously I'm not a robot, but. There, with the top 100, until you're getting to your top 30, you're kind of more free. You're like, sure, yeah, Sagrada is at 64, and last year it was at 53. Whatever, that's 11 spots. So, like, even whenever it's a huge jump from like 40 spots, it's like, look, we play a shit ton of games, not as much as. The Dice Tower or anything like that. That's his job. That is his job, and they get sent games to do. I'm lucky if people send me stuff, and I'm very appreciative of it. But this is a hobby still, but like 400, that's a lot. Like I don't even think I've played 400. I mean, you own 400 games.
I haven't played them all.
Right. I still have a shelf over there, but I've played probably at least 400 games in my 5-6 years. I don't think I've played that many video games.
Right. Oh yeah.
So whenever they jump 40 spots, that's it's number 70 out of 400.
Right.
So.
Well, I'll find out more because I will continue to use that.
The Pub Meeple thing.
And then we'll see. So if it's how it changes next year.
I think what I'll do next year, how I will probably transition to that is I will do the list twice, and then compare where they're at, and if it's still like. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%, 200%, but if it's like 2 or 3 off, then I'll be like, okay, this is accurate. I'll quit doing this, and then we'll move on. Because it was way easier than writing everything down. With that being said, my number 63 is brand new to the list and brand new to gaming in general. This is such a lovely game. I think a game I gave a 9, and Devin and Kat gave like a 10, because it's just so simple, so brain burny but not too much, and so much fun, and it is Tiny Towns. Tiny Towns is a game by AEG where you are building a little tiny town. You are sharing essentially resources, and you're trying to organize cubes in your little grid to make a Tetris-shaped block based off the cards that are out. And all the cards have a unique way to be built and offer different ways to get points. And there's a bunch in the game, so you'll have a different variety of cards out there. But what's really unique is that in playing with multiple people, is you are like, I need some glass. That means everyone picks up a glass, and they have to figure out where to place it, and you cannot move them once they're placed. The only way to get rid of them is if you make the pattern, and then you pick them all up, and you have to place the building in the spot of where one of the spots where those cubes were. So you slowly you start running out of room. So there's a lot of pre-planning of being like, okay. And some of the buildings require certain spots. It's like, hey, if you have 4 of these in all 4 corners, you get 16 points or something. And it's like, okay, so you try to build around that, and then sometimes because you're not guaranteed a resource until it's your turn. Friend of mine, he did not like that. Fair enough. I think the game is light and it's not a beer and pretzels game, but it's light enough that whatever someone called, because there was time where we were all building stuff and Kat's like, I need some dirt. It's like, okay, everyone gets dirt. Then I'm like, I need some dirt, and then we get dirt. Third person, then he's like, I need brick. So it's like, well, you gotta wait your turn. I would say this is one of those games that is better with less. 3 was a really good number. I could see 4 kind of being the max. We played with 5. And yeah, that you can get hosed. There's not a whole lot you can do if everyone needs the same fucking resource. Mm-hmm. But this was definitely a shocker of one of those games, because I was like, I mean, it seemed very simplistic, but kind of brain burning in a way. And they announced another expansion, and everyone has like a secret building they can get, like some objective that's like requires a lot of room of cubes before you place it.
Right.
But they did announce, I think it's called Fortune. Fortune is like the expansion that'll come out next year. Very happy that they announced one. So
I need to try it still.
I think you and your family would really like it. And if the artwork is not immediately like stunning, but if you look at it, it's whatever they call like the animals that can talk and live and stuff. Well, yeah, I think that's it.
Talking animals.
Sure. I'm like, I have no idea. But it's that kind of artwork, and you can see that in it, but it's not like immediate. But it's really good. I think you would like it quite a bit. So it's my 63.
All right. My number 63 is new to the list.
Okay.
It's a new game, and I'm very happy that it's this high. It's the DC Deck Builder.
Okay.
Rebirth.
Oh.
It's a standalone.
Okay.
Right. That's why it's not an expansion. It can be an expansion.
Yeah.
Okay, so DC Deck Builder, we've talked about that, where it's that stupid stuff of where you're defeating the bad guys, they go into your deck and all that stuff, right? Well, DC Deck Builder Rebirth is a legacy style game, okay? There's 5 different heroes you can choose from. It's the typical DC heroes. But what this brings into it is there are 10 spaces? Yeah. There's 10 spaces around, so it brings in spatial relations and movement into this game, right? So you are moving your characters from place to place, fighting bad guys.
Oh, okay.
Right?
It's pretty cool.
Bad guys are coming in. Now, when you beat the bad guys, you get an immediate benefit, but then they just go to the side.
Oh, okay. So it's no longer weird.
But it's a story. It's an overarching legacy story, and the game comes with envelopes. There's I don't know how many envelopes. Yeah. And it's a new scenario. The next scenario. Okay. And there's bad guys that keep coming. You're going from here to here, defending.
It's a deck builder?
Yes.
Oh.
So you're buying stuff too. All this stuff. So you're buying hero stuff. You're powering up your hero.
Is it just the one hero that you pick?
Well, you can play because it's co-op or solo.
Well, no, I know, but like in a deck builder, you shuffle all
I'm sure you probably get. You can get whatever. Yeah, you get Batman. Like if you're Superman, you get Batman. I mean, that's the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean,
so it's not quite like that thematic. But you don't add Lex Luthor all of a sudden in your deck. Right. Okay. At least that's an improvement.
Right. So, but I just like that. It's solo play. It's not competitive now. which because the other one was competitive. You're not adding the bad guys to your deck. If you want, you can either play it. You can do it semi-cooperative, where you keep track of your bad guys and how many points they're worth and all that jazz if you want to. But you're just going through the story and you're doing the envelopes, which is what I've been wanting because I like the DC deck builder. Yeah. I like the abilities because you can really just throw those turns where you can just throw big ass haymakers with some of those superhero powers and stuff. But now being able to run it through the story, being able to run it solo, that just made it. I was like, as soon as I found out
it's a little bit more thematic.
As soon as I found out, I was like, yep, I bought it immediately.
Gotcha.
Because you could even use some of the cards in that with DC Deck Builder and vice versa.
Oh, okay.
So like your deck, you're buying your stuff can be from that.
Oh, that's neat.
It's
okay.
just so it's just kind of throws in some more.
Cool.
So I hope they kind of keep doing
more stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, if it went over well, then I think they might.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. My number 62 is new to the list, which is surprising because I believe I had, I thought I had this on my list last year, but maybe I didn't have everything. But if I did, then I apologize. But I did not end up seeing it on my list. So it is Subterra. Subterra is the cooperative cave dwelling game where you are. It's a tiling game where you are you fell in a cave or you willingly went to the cave. I actually have a little comic book I got from Gen Con. If you played, this was actually really neat of them because Subterra 2 was on Kickstarter, and I got to play test it while I was there. But they had, if you did the play test, then you could. They just had free stuff. Hey, and one of them was the comic book. It's not the best, but at least it was free. Yeah. And they also had promo starting and ending tiles. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay down these tiles and survive the hazards of the cavern while also looking for the exit. This game is probably one of the most stressful, and if you really get immersed, thematic, terrifying games because there's squeeze tiles that you're it takes a lot of actions to get through, and then there's poison gas that can spew up. There's cave-ins. There's a bunch of stuff that and then the monsters that can chase you.
Right.
But what's a really cool, unique thing is that the way the tiles are going to come out is radically different. So the cave will become that'll change. And last time I did whenever the event deck runs out, then that means you basically have your flashlight goes out. And so each turn you have to roll a die, and I can't remember what the result is, but if it's low, then the monsters catch up to you in the darkness and kill you. But if you roll high, you get to keep going.
Right.
And it's not even to push your luck, it's just a mechanic. And I remember I was just beelining it, just tile after tile, and I kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and I was doing really well because Kat and my friend Josh, they had already died. And I found the end tile and I made it. I had to because it stays the same result. Luckily, it doesn't get any harder, but the odds are not in your favor. And I was able to make it and escape, and it's intense because everyone's standing up, just oh my god, are we gonna get out? It's really good. The expansions are really neat too. Some of them add more gear that's helpful. Others add a different objective. You need to blow up certain pillars, so you have to find the pillars in the stack and blow them up. And then I can't remember what the third one does, but yeah, it's a solid cooperative game. I really like it. Very thematic.
I know I've heard Z Garcia talk about it much and about how kind of like you said, the rolling at the end and all that stuff. So
it's so good. Loves that. He does really like it. Yeah. So, and at first, I think it's one of the games that he didn't like at first, and I think it's once you kind of understand how the game, because you're not you shouldn't just blindly run around because you'll die. Right. Radical, variable player powers, and everyone is useful. So it's a really good one. Very excited for Subterra 2.
All right, my number 2 has been on my list for
number
a while,
2
or 62 has been on my list for a long
jump
time.
60 spots.
It's AEG. It was 53 last year, 26 the year before that.
Okay.
It's probably kind of settle around this area, I would think.
Okay.
Is Love Letter.
Oh, okay.
It and like same with like Eggs and Empires. This was my other small box game, and it's about as simple as it gets. There's 16 cards, I think, in the deck.
Okay.
You shuffle them up, leave one out, put the deck down. Everybody gets one card. You draw one, play one. Draw one, play one. And there's different discard effects. If you have to discard your card, you're out for that round. If you're the last man standing, then you gain a heart. If you gain, depending on player count, if you get the X number of hearts, you win.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, I'm now on my 4th copy.
Just sleeve the damn game.
I do. It's just everything.
Buy better sleeves. Don't buy penny sleeves.
So I just fly through. And I've debated on buying the
premium one.
Premium with the tarot cards and all the extra crap. But I'm just like, there we go. When we go on vacations, I always bring this on vacation with us. And
so I combined Love Letter and Lovecraft Letter. I prefer Lovecraft Letter.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
It has a little bit more.
I don't like the insanity.
See, I like the insanity. Yeah. I think that's a neat mechanic because it adds a little bit more risk to the game. And another
it made the game a lot longer.
It does.
Which is why, because the game of Love Letter just...
Yeah, I will 100% agree with you there. But for me, Lovecraft Letter ended up being at 136. And before that, last year, it was 120. So... Yeah.
We've played Love Letter every vacation we've taken since.
It's good. It's really fun.
It always is in the deal. Yeah, and Ghosts.
Oh yeah,
those two are in our suitcase every trip we take.
Yeah, Love Letter is it's such a good one. Because I bought Lovecraft Letter and I remember someone was looking for some games. And I gave them Love Letter. I'm like, here you go. Like it's a $6 game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super smooth. I love how it's like because there's strategy that you wouldn't really think of from playing it. It's just like, okay, if you have the number 7, you have to get rid of anything higher, and they discard or whatever it is.
It's if you have the prince or the king,
you have to discard. Yep, and it's like, oh, did he discard that because he has?
Yeah, and you can bluff it.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh crap, and then someone will play a guardian or a guard and be like, you have the king, and it's like, nope.
Yep.
But then it's like, crap. Okay, so that means he might have the princess, so you can't discard the princess. I love Lovecraft Letter does the same thing, and in fact already comes with the poker chips and the tarot cards with the sleeves.
Yep.
It's really good. So
this one was this game that single-handedly started the micro game craze back several years ago, because Love Letter came out, went bonkers.
Yeah.
And then everybody started micro games. Let's see how the fewest amount of cards we can use in the game.
Right.
You know. And it is. It's what started that whole year or two of micro games.
Yeah.
And it's a good one.
It is a really good one. And the last one for this segment is number 61, and it is brand new to the list and brand new this year. So jumped quite up a bit, and it is... Can you guess? No. Cloudspire. So Cloudspire, if you don't know, is made by...
Chip Theory.
Thank you, Chip Theory Games. I was thinking that it was made by Too Many Bones Games. It's made by Chip Theory. Insanely overproduced. Every single mat is neoprene. All the cards are plastic cards. Every token is chips. The cases for it. It's gobsmackingly beautiful. But this one is a not a tower defense. It's basically it's tower defense from each other, and it's kind of like your League of Legends. You have your stronghold that you're trying to protect by uprooting or building towers, spires that can attack the enemy, and you have your hero chips, and you have your minions, and your minions follow road paths, and they beeline towards the opposing player's fortress, and you have your heroes that you get to willingly move and control. I have played this game 3 times now, and there is quite a steep learning curve. It's one of those games where you have to kind of learn your faction, the strategy with your faction, and it tells you kind of what they're about. And you have to learn how to play against what a faction your opponent has, so they're doing the exact same thing. And this is probably the best kind of MOBA. That's what it is, not tower defense. MOBA style board game out on the market. And essentially, like I said, you have your stack of tokens that you're moving around on the board, and everyone has their own ability and kind of unique. Your minions have abilities, and attacking is very straightforward. You don't roll dice. It's just like, hey, there's his attack value. He hits you, and you retaliate back. Over time, you build what's called mana by controlling the mats for source, which is your mana. You spend that to buy upgrades during the build phase, and you get special abilities. And there are some dice for the special abilities, but it's like, well, now I can do this. And it's first one to with last tower standing. So your fortress has 10 health. There's ways to heal. There's other things to heal your people, and it's a very solid, fun, I wouldn't necessarily say quick, but about an hour of a MOBA game. And I think the factions are really, really cool. One of the factions that I play regularly is the bird faction. Like, so they're not the strongest, but
right.
They're super quick. And they have, and their abilities on their building is that if I level it up to level 2, then anything that has flying as a keyword can immediately start adjacent once they leave your fortress, adjacent to one of your spires. And the way the board comes out, if I can get a spire in the middle, then it's just like, boom, I'm there. But the enemy is all about defense, and basically they have, like, one of their abilities is like a huge cannon that they roll a die, and they're like, this is for damage. Oh, it's a 6. Okay, this is for range. It's a 6. And then it's like, so they can hit 6 spaces away with 6 damage. Yes. And so it's like, okay, but a lot of my birds have quick attack, meaning they attack before your towers attack. So it's like, okay, I can ping you real quick before they die. But there's a lot of strategy, because once your heroes lose health, they are removed from the game. And they can level up. If they defeat an enemy, then they get an upgrade, whether more health or more range or more attack. And then if you level up again, they don't have any more upgrades, they level up. Like, they actually flip and have a new ability.
Gotcha.
It's really, really good. I've not tried it with any more than 2, because most MOBAs are 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really necessarily like the idea of multiple people, because at the beginning of the round, you hand someone like a chip, and it's like, my minions have to move towards whoever you hand the chip to.
Right.
So essentially, someone could be in a 3-player game, especially someone could just get handed the chips and they're just going to get hosed. So I think this game is meant for 1v1. The only thing I can say, it's not that it needs an expansion, because I have everything for it. I have the playmat up there.
Yeah.
I have everything, like I have the faction expansion, the like upgrade supply expansion. I just want more factions.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like there's more, because they have a dice tray that is quite empty. So
I'm sure they will. I mean, they did with
Too Many Bones.
Too Many Bones.
Yeah.
Had stuff, more
yeah.
stuff.
So yeah, it's really good. I like it quite a bit. So that's my number 61.
All right, my number 61 was 75 last year.
Okay.
And 82 before that.
Damn, it's been going up.
And this is the highest it's going to get. It's probably going to start going down.
Because I realize it is garbage.
Well, no, it's because a game I'm getting ready to get is probably going to replace it.
Oh, okay.
And this is Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It is... I've always had really good fun with it playing it solo. You can play a solo game of it in 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can fly through it. And pretty much you're just... It's a very super light roll and write civilization game.
Mm-hmm.
You roll these dice, you're getting food, feeding your workers, when you get workers, you mark off and build stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. I mean, it's supremely simple. You can also get more dice by building more cities. If you roll certain numbers of bad things are going to happen. Right?
Do they? Yeah. I vaguely remember getting the plague 14 times.
This game will start falling rapidly because Era is... I should be getting it once Reavers gets in. I can start getting... But
can you just call them and be like, hey, I don't want Reavers?
But then I have to pay shipping to those stuff.
Gotcha.
And everything. It's kind of... because it said it was coming out at that time, and I figured it was all coming out.
Yeah.
So anyway, But so it's era. I think Age of Kingdoms. I think is the
I don't
deal.
know.
It's going to be it's a roll game too, but it's a roll and build, because it has plastic. You'll have a plastic board, and you actually put 3D buildings. You're actually building buildings as you build instead
that's
of
pretty cool.
crossing
Just
off
crossing
squares.
off on
You
a
actually so your board you're gonna have a 3D city
That's
in
pretty
front of
cool.
you as you do it. It still has it's still gonna have your
plague
negatives
and
for
your-
rolling your
yeah.
stuff. But it's going to be more visual instead of just the wooden pegboards and all that stuff. Everything's plastic.
Cool.
And it got received really well at the deal. But this one's all wooden. There was an Iron Age one also that came out after this.
That added like more to it, didn't it?
It was more or less the same game, just what you marked off. It was a little bit different.
Gotcha.
And your
It's weird
resources
that
were
they
a
just
little
stopped
different.
at the Iron Age. You'd
Yeah.
think they would have kept going.
So anyway, this one, like I said, this has probably hit its peak for me now because I think Era is going to be better because just having the 3D elements,
Yeah, and if
being
it's
visual,
pretty
and,
much the same game, but yeah,
and
better.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of the easiest, and maybe that's why they stopped at the Iron Age, just because they were.
Is it
working
the
on
same company?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure it's Eagle Griffin that's doing Era.
Okay.
Also. But even if it's not, I mean, it's the same designer.
Oh, yeah,
So-
okay.
So if he's whether it's Eagle Griffin
Yeah.
or not,
Yeah.
because it's the same guy that made all those is doing. I think it's Layman. Is it Layman too?
No idea. No.
Anyway,
no
but
idea.
anyway, so yeah, I mean that's it. It's
Cool.
Bronze Age.
That's it, everyone. That's it for this segment. That was 70 through 61. Let us know what you think of these games in the comments below. Stick around for the rest of the top 100. We are almost to the halfway point. That's when it starts really getting good. Like I just had 50 games and I shuffled them together. I'm like, yeah, this will work.
Yes, Matt Leacock.
Huh?
Matt Leacock.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Sorry.
same company though.
Same
Eagle
company.
Griffin.
Eggert Spiel is what it has on here right now.
But anyway, other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.